Okay. I just woke up. Few minutes before the thing starts. Sonic Central. This shit came out of nowhere. If I sound jaded, I literally just woke up. IGN is having this hands-on gameplay thing for Sonic Frontiers happening at the exact same time as this Sonic Central. So I'm opting to choose the Sonic Central to watch since it's at the same time. And IGN also released screenshots, like more screenshots of Frontiers. But like when you compare the screenshots to the gameplay they showed off, the game looks a lot prettier than the video footage. Like obviously the graphics and like the world looks better. Sonic looks decently better. The detail on the enemy robots especially, like, you could tell it's a different build altogether. And with that, and now the Sonic Central, that's making me wonder, like, what the hell? Like, I have to imagine the Sonic Central in some way is trying to provide some kind of damage control with how much, like, drama, I guess you could say, Frontiers has caused. Because a lot of people were not keen on Frontiers with the first gameplay. So they're doing this. I think we're going to get some Frontier stuff for this Central. I have no idea what else we're going to get for this Central. I predicted, trailer for Frontiers, trailer for Sonic 5. I think we're going to get a new 2D Sonic game from the Mania devs. And a trailer for Sonic Prime. Like those three. Because I thought they were just going to do all the Frontier stuff. I didn't think they'd throw a Central on top. Central on top, my bad. I'm probably going to react to the IGN gameplay after this Central, by the way.
The games that defined a generation. Roll back to the games that started it all with Sonic Origins.
It makes sense. I've been trying to hold off on seeing the animations for this game. Because people have said they're like longer than a lot anticipated, and there's plenty of them. Oh, okay, yep, drop dash. DLC price model aside, like, this is cool. I think Origins is a pretty cool collection, all things considered. It's just that stupid, confusing DLC model that looks really dumb. That, and they took out all the other, like, ports of Sonic 1, 2, and CD from past digital stores just for this collection. You get why, don't get me wrong. At the same time, though, it's still kind of dumb. Or at least most of them. I know they kept the Sonic 1... 1 and 2 Switch ports for Sega Ages, I think it was. Oh, they got a boss rush mode. Missions, mirror mode. Oh, there's a mirror mode? Wow. Yeah, I think Origins is going to be a solid release and a fun time.
Redefined. Experience all Sonic Origins has to offer.
It's just a weird deal. Not DLC. Well, yeah, DLC, but like...
Celebrate Sonic Central in Sonic Speed Simulator on Roblox.
For some people, too, it's like... How many times have we played...
Where Eggman has kidnapped
like those classic Sonic games,
and is using their life force to power up Metal Sonic.
I need to play this. Do you guys want me to do a gameplay on Sonic Speed Sim? Because I wanted to do it at some point and I just never did. But they keep updating this over and over. And it looks to be like a really fun like Sonic game in Roblox.
Watch out for Mephiles the Dark. Show off your greatest achievements.
Mephiles? My guy. I thought it was pronounced Mephiles. Mephiles the Dark.
The new Netflix animated series.
Okay, I got one prediction right.
Here's a sneak peek of our new show.
I got one prediction. I'll run with that. It was on the fly though. I hope the show's good. I might review this when it comes out. Is that Shadow or Tails? It's either, I think it's Tails. It's either Tails or Shadow. Oh, let's go! Whoa! Wait. Those spines were, like, pretty far out there. They were kind of big. We got a sneak peek of Prime. Shadow's in the show, at least. If no new 2D Sonic, that's whatever. I feel like they're trying to focus more on Frontiers. Yeah, no, the Sonic Central literally came so far out of nowhere.
A sneak peek of a new animated special.
Oh. Well, duh! Wow. They've been doing this a lot with the recent Sonic releases. I guess we should have expected this with Frontiers. An actual peek at the story, at least.
We look forward to sharing it later this year, prior to the release of Sonic Frontiers.
That was it? So we know Knuckles is in. Now I'm just curious about the actual story of the game. Alright, how much better does the game look here? Ooh. Considerably better. The animations seem, like, fixed up, too. At least better than what IGN showed us. That was it? Oh my god. I'm hopeful for the game, but I'm gonna be honest, dude, the marketing has been so freaking weird. Marketing for this game's been so weird. That would... Oh, okay. No new 2D Sonic. Okay, whatever. That was like another 30-second trailer for the game. It looked better. I mean, like, Sonic's model, the animations, the graphics in general, like... It looked more polished. But, like... I think my current annoyance with Frontier so far is, like, we don't have context for, like, anything. It's like, oh, look at all these collectibles. There's like 5 or 6 collectibles. We don't know what any of those do. It's like, oh, Sonic running around this world and like fighting these robots. It's probably to mess with Eggman. We still don't know what the story is for the game. We don't know if there's like a skill tree or upgrade thing for the game. There's all that combat, sure, so we have to assume such, but we don't know for sure. We need more context. And it's just the way it's like spliced up in like different gameplay videos sent to IGN that they're distributing every other day or so. But like those also are like lacking context, so it's also like making people... It's not like selling people because of the lack of extra context or like specific detail on what they're trying to show. It's just like, oh, here's some gameplay, here's some combat, and that's about it, you know? It's just weird. The whole marketing strategy Sega and Sonic Team are doing with this game is just so weird. Which, speaking of, let me find the IGN gameplay. Yeah, work in progress gameplay build.
Outside of Sonic Team to go hands-on with Sonic Frontiers, and let me just say, if you're worried about how the blue blur will fare in this unfamiliar genre, well, I think Crush 40 probably put it best. Open your heart, it's gonna be alright.
Cheesy.
The first thing that struck me about Sonic Frontiers was how uniquely somber and serene it was right from the outset. After flying into a wormhole with Tails and Amy, Sonic finds himself separated from his friends and all alone on an isolated island, with nothing but an AI voice guiding him to collect the Chaos Emeralds. There's no one for Sonic to bounce quips off of, no energetic Crush 40 soundtrack, just wide open fields as far as the eye can see. There's an
I'm pausing right here. Actual context! Yay! So, Sonic, Tails, and Amy went through a portal to this land, got separated, and this AI voice is leading him to get Chaos Emeralds. When was the last time Chaos Emeralds were involved in a 3D Sonic game's plot? I think it was Generations. And even then it didn't feel like a huge thing. Because, like, Generations... Well, I mean, it kind of was, but, like, Generations' story It's hardly much of a story. So I feel like you could argue Unleashed in that aspect. But hey, Chaos Emeralds are actually used as a plot device again. Let's go. I like it when they use the Chaos Emeralds in a Sonic story, and we get Supersonic. I like that. And we haven't done that in a decade. Let's go. Woohoo!
And it's a vibe that's driven home even further by the beautiful yet minimalist piano melodies that accompany Sonic as
he also described uniquely somber, like, the tranquility of the world and the music. It's like, Breath of the Wild kind of did that. Other open world games have done that. I don't know how unique for Sonic, maybe, I guess, but, like, not for the genre. I don't know about that, Chief. Yeah, like, how old is this build?
All of this quickly hop back and forth between colored tiles, or use Sonic's new side loop ability to draw circles.
Well, that was a new puzzle we just saw.
To interact with them. The best ones, though, are the races against the clock, where you have to get from point A to point B in a limited amount of time.
Oh!
The openness of Frontier's level design makes straightforward races like these a ton of fun.
So it's like the Scarecrow timer challenges in Odyssey.
At the end, that might not be immediately obvious.
Okay.
Hunt down and defeat these bosses in order to collect portal gears, which open up portals.
Oh, and he can climb up too.
Stages, done in the style of previous Sonic games, giving Sonic Frontiers a nice mix of both old and new styles. These classic levels each come with a handful of optional goals, like beating the level under a certain time, collecting all the red rings, and so on.
Wait. I got distracted by him climbing up. What did he say about classic levels?
Sonic must hunt down and defeat these bosses in order to collect portal gears, which open up portals that lead to bite-sized linear stages, done in the style of previous Sonic games.
So those little rings that its feet dropped. Bite-sized linear levels, they like those little gears you pick up. They give you access to little bite-sized linear levels. The generation-style levels, cyberspace.
Giving Sonic Frontiers a nice mix of both old and new styles. These classic levels each come with a handful of optional goals, like beating the level under a certain time, collecting all the red rings, and so on, with each goal rewarding you with a vault key, which are needed to unlock the coveted Chaos Emeralds.
Okay. Well, that answers that question, but, like, how bite-sized are we talking? Like, how small are those Generations-esque levels? And how many of them are there gonna be? Right?
Sonic Frontiers is an exciting new step forward for the Sonic series into uncharted territory, and based on my time with it, Sonic Team seems to have hit upon a winning formula. There's certainly still work to be done before it's released during the holiday season. There's a lot of distracting pop-in, there's a fair amount of bugs still left to be squashed, and the big boss fights could do with some tweaking.
I like that he's addressing some of the criticisms plenty of people have with this game. The pop-ins, the technical issues, some of the gameplay elements. He is addressing these in this hands-on impression. I guess it makes sense. This video is basically like what all of us have been saying. It's like what I'm doing right now, giving an impressions of what I saw. Right. Well, now I'm doing the reaction part. The impressions is gonna come later. Okay. I'm gonna bring a discussion with you guys. Am I gonna include it in this video, or am I gonna make it its own video? You're getting a discussion here, like my other Frontiers videos. So a Sonic Central just happened earlier today with a hands-on impression video released by IGN at the exact same time, as in a discussion video from the guy who played the Frontiers demo, giving his thoughts and critiques and feelings on his experience of his playtime with the game. Got some insights on that, some extra finer details confirmed, the Sonic Central revealed both stuff we already knew about and some other stuff we didn't, and I've skirted over this specific topic here and there throughout the reaction portion, but the marketing being done for Sonic, both for Frontiers and with all of this, it is really throwing me off, and not in a good way. There's a couple things to unpack and discuss with all of this. I'll touch on the Sonic Central first. Don't take any of what I'm about to say to heart or through any deeper meaning or level or whatever. I don't really care about it all that much. I don't think the Central was that good. And the core thing about it and all this Sonic stuff, it's just weird. Like, the Sonic Central happening at all today, I guarantee you the vast majority of Sonic fans did not expect a Sonic Central at all this month. Not with Origins coming in a couple weeks, and especially when we're getting more Frontiers info, drops, and gameplay stuff throughout the whole month. Like, there wasn't much of a reason or need for one in this moment in time, at least to me. We were fine on Sonic news and information, and that's not to say there was absolutely nothing worth getting excited over they announced here, but the announcement of the Central came out of nowhere and it felt pretty abrupt, and coming out of what was a 10-minute Central, where more than half of what was shown was stuff we already knew about, in my opinion, it just kind of felt superfluous. Like, outside a handful of bits here and there, it didn't add a whole lot to the discussion, and I feel like that IGN hands-on gameplay thing, the interview, had more to chew on and discuss by comparison, which is ironic given it was one dude giving details on one game, not even new gameplay, compared to the presentation on multiple Sonic things. And again, a lot of the stuff and announcements in there were already stuff we knew about, and if not that, it was small stuff I feel like most Sonic fans wouldn't go crazy about or feel it was worth putting in there. Sonic Origins trailer/reel. Okay, it was a cute reel. That's coming out in a couple weeks. That I get. It's a reminder, basically. That's one thing. Something we've been knew about, but it's a reminder of sorts. Okay. More updates on Sonic's Speed Simulator in Roblox. We already knew about that. The game's been getting a surprising amount of support from the devs and fans alike, and have been pumping out announcements for that on their own. The mobile game's adding more skins and characters and whatnot. Smaller stuff they've been doing for a while now. The Sonic 2 movie's now out on digital streaming platforms. It's got bonus features, bloopers, deleted scenes, and a bonus short attached. All of that stuff we found out about a couple weeks ago online already. Fall Guys is getting another Sonic collaboration, okay. The Sonic Symphony Orchestra going on a physical tour is cool, but also merchandise, because how little merch is there to go around with Sonic? Like, a lot of the stuff is stuff not many fans keep intense track of, have money for, or both to make a big stink over, and plenty of the announcements are stuff the brands and companies and development teams behind all those little individual projects and such have made on their own plenty relatively fine before. The biggest stuff in the Central that was new-ish was the Sonic Prime teaser and the Frontiers teaser at the end, which, legit, the teasers went about like a second or two of the actual thing they're teasing, they finished, and are all, we hope you look forward to finding out more, like the most nothing teasers like they've been consistently doing with most of the Sonic stuff since last May. Shadow's confirmed to be in Sonic Prime. Okay, that's cool, I love Shadow and all, but we don't know much else about the show nor when it's coming out. Sonic Frontiers is getting a prologue animation short prior to release. Sweet! All they had to show for it was Knuckles guarding the Master Emerald in the rain. Okay. And we got another snippet of gameplay on Frontiers which lasted like 15 to 20 seconds or so. Like, the vast majority of the announcements felt to where we already knew about them, or they could have been tossed out there on social media on their own just fine, and they still would have fared moderately well. Going into the Central, I presumed it was some kind of damage control for all the Frontiers backlash over the past week, and with all these announcements here, maybe that's what it was trying to do. Alongside, it showed us a different small piece of the game. But not only are we still getting plenty more Frontier stuff throughout the month, and the hands-on impression from IGN, I would easily argue, gave us more to think about and talk about. It did a better job at damage control because it confirmed and alleviated many suspicions that arose from this past week. It just felt like the Central wasn't necessary in the grand scheme and didn't add a whole lot with what it did show off. If you enjoyed the Central, that's fine, I'm glad you did. Again, I don't really care that much about it, but it felt pointless to me and pretty subpar, all things considered. Like a 4 or 5 out of 10, D- somewhere around there. Again, I don't care about the Central. As far as the hands-on impression from IGN on Frontiers, linked with the extra snippet of Frontiers gameplay towards the end of the Central, this is what I want to emphasize. I didn't think much of this at first, but since the combat gameplay showcase, I was more and more now I'm reminded of way back when Frontiers was teased for the very first time. Regardless of whether you're not looking forward to the game, or very hyped for the game, think it'll suck, think it'll be good, what have you, regardless of whatever stance you have for the game, I think one thing most people are agreeing on with Frontiers, and my primary problem with the game so far, it's not even a fault of the game itself, is the marketing is straight up really, really bad. It's weirdly panned out, and I don't think it's working for a lot of people. This splintered gameplay sprinkle every other day of the week. Here's some movement. Now here's some combat. Like, these kinds of gameplays they keep dropping, it's the kind of gameplay you'd get for any other game out there, but after a normal trailer for the game, like a 2-minute normal trailer made by the company themselves showing general gameplay stuff, story stuff, a release date, etc. in a concise, polished, and structured manner. Once that's done, there'd be separate gameplay videos released by media outlets after the fact. Like, it feels like with Frontiers, they're doing it backwards, and the hands-on impression video from today re-solidifies that, because that video both confirmed plenty of what people were questioning regarding the game, and it gave us actual context and specific details on specific stuff most people care about regarding the game, and that specific context is something all the other coverages of this game has been lacking significantly and causing more confusion and anxiety than anything else for most people looking at Frontiers. The technological and graphical imperfections in the first gameplay, the wonky movement and physics, animations, the questions surrounding the level and platforming design, collectibles, story, how early is the build we've been looking at when looking at how soon the game's coming out, and most of this was answered via the hands-on impressions video, and is probably the best update on Frontiers thus far. But again, it shows just how weird, and not good, but especially just how weird the marketing for Frontiers has been if it took this for most people to be put at a general ease to some degree. There are still questions and worries still roaming about for sure, but some of the standout ones from the movement and combat gameplays, alongside some of the comments made by the IGN guy who played the demo for the game and seemed very genuine and earnest about the game's potential and wanting the final product to do and be well as well. This is giving people legitimate reasons to look forward to the game than just giving a gameplay video with very little details and commentary on what they're showing. Like, imagine if Breath of the Wild's marketing started off like how Sonic Frontiers has been. Every teaser basically being a 30-second teaser of nothing. We see the world, and we see Link slowly walking and bumbling around the world, maybe swinging a sword at a baddie or something, maybe use a rune ability or two. That's most of Frontiers' marketing, essentially, and both SEGA and IGN have been trying to hype up stuff like that without elaborating specifics on both what they're showing alongside any other elements and mechanics tied around what they're showing up until today. And there are several details and cool mechanics and stuff the game has, but you're just told to just show Link or Sonic, either case, walking around this world in a normal fashion with little context surrounding the world itself, what you're collecting, the state the build's in, etc. The fact they confirmed what they showed off is an earlier build of the game, and many are excited to hear that part screams how shoddy this whole marketing tactic for the game is. And even then, we're basically stuck with the notion that whatever gameplay we get of this game now from here on could very well be an earlier build of the game still, until we know it's a more polished and updated build like the gameplay we saw in the Central. And that doesn't scream good marketing if it's that inconsistent between the company and consumers, and if it's been making reactions to Frontiers this all over the place and mixed for numerous reasons. And coming out of the hands-on thing, this was, to me, the best showcase for the game thus far, which wasn't even a showcase. It was almost an interview just telling us stuff about the actual game, replaying both the combat and the movement gameplay we already saw. The IGN guy confirmed Sonic, Tails, and Amy are transported to this world via a wormhole. The build we've been seeing up to now is very early work in progress. He played the game for 4 hours. A skill tree's confirmed. He believes Sonic translating to an open world setting can work upon other stuff I'll go into in a bit. But between the wormhole stuff and the Frontiers prologue, we now know of an actual plot details regarding the game. Knuckles is probably going to be in the game too. Sonic's guided by this AI voice throughout the game, and I'm willing to bet money it'll be Eggman tricking Sonic to getting all the emeralds for him. But speaking of, the game has this structure/feedback loop to where you fight these big robot bosses to get these gears to access linear Sonic levels. Those Generations-esque levels that take place in cyberspace that have been rumored for a long while now, and you clear those levels for Chaos Emeralds alongside those stages housing spare missions like time trials and obtaining red rings. Chaos Emeralds are a plot device and main collectible again, and the guy who played the early build described the feedback loop as Sonic exploring the world, discover puzzles and platforming challenges, you clear those to open up more of the map, you find collectibles around the world to improve stats, and the feedback loop continues to fighting the bosses and the rest of what I described from there earlier. He also described Frontiers as a mix of an experimental open-world 3D high-speed action game and a traditional linear 3D Sonic game. All of this sounds really cool. It's also just nice to finally get confirmation of a skill tree, of stats and upgrades and such, story details, how the game's structure will be like, and the same IGN guy voicing many of the same critiques as others have expressed, like the pop-in, the technical struggles and bugs and such, the design and controls, etc. But he also seemed to be really looking forward to seeing this type of Sonic game work as well. Like, if this specific video of Frontiers was how we started out the month, this would have saved consumers and fans so much confusion and anxiety. This helped a lot for Frontiers and expectations and context surrounding it, the marketing, etc. A lot of it we just had to assume up until now, so getting proper confirmation of all these details really does help. Granted, we still need to know how those linear levels are designed. How long will those be? Are they closer to Generations design, or something like Colors or Forces? There's at least probably going to be around 7 of them if they're tied to getting the Chaos Emeralds. Do we know if there's going to be more than that? How much more does the world's design expand when you clear puzzles and challenges and such? Stuff like that, but a lot of base questions and core fundamentals were essentially covered here, and not even from the Central. That's why I keep saying the IGN showcase today was better. Most of the stuff people were thinking about with Frontiers were essentially answered here for the most part, and there's extra room for both discussion and consideration whenever we get more looks at the game now. Topped off with the small glimpse we got at a more polished build for the game, the flying titan enemy Sonic was running along a linear path towards, the prettier graphics, touched up animations, etc. If nothing else, this gave some sigh of relief to a good chunk of people worried about some aspect of Frontiers, and I think that says more for both the potential surrounding the game I feel most people are seeing, and the marketing behind the game too. If there's a normal trailer that gives better, proper context and more polished gameplay and such, just sitting around for SEGA or IGN, either party, I would hope they drop it soon for Thursday for Summer Games Fest or something, because with this Central coming gone, and that third nothing teaser was all they had, I'm more so worried about the marketing methods for the game if we're stuck on this path for the next 3 weeks. I've been on the cautious optimistic side since the start. I've been warming up very gradually more and more to the game the more I see it and hear of it. I have my reactions and discussions of all the gameplay showcases thus far proving this. Even with some judgments and worries I have for the game, I just really hope this game is a winner. 3D Sonic needs a winning game. Plenty of what I've seen and heard thus far is making me more eager for the game and seeing more, playing it finally, etc, etc. I'm just hesitant on fully jumping on board the hype ship, unless I know for certain we're in for a good 3D Sonic game again after 11 years. But I've prattled on a lot longer than I anticipated. The impressions video was good, the information within it, somehow the best showcase out of anything for Frontiers thus far, debatably. I need to see more of the story for the game and the cyberspace levels now, more of the overall world, maybe the skill tree, and I'm still holding out hope for this one. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for listening and watching. I'll see y'all whenever we get more Frontiers information and news. Thank you for bearing with my overbloated rambling and explanations and discussions, as always, and continue to stay super.